a sit down with your Arsenal advisor.
Tell me about your thoughts of the 1911.
I think I got something a little bit better.
Welcome to the Urban Defense Podcast. And in today's episode, we're sitting down with the creator of Your Arsenal Advisor. And we're going to talk to him about his channel, what it's all about, the type of content he likes, and some of maybe the trials and tribulations that he experienced while being a YouTube content creator that makes gun content. But first, remember to comment, like, share, and subscribe. So, Brian, welcome aboard.
Hey, thanks a lot for having me on, Dwayne. Good to see you, Andrew.
What in the world inspired you to get into this line of work?
Oh, wow, that's a great question, Andrew. When I go back and think, well, actually, I started like a decade ago, and when I found out about YouTube and you can kind of just put your own content on and, create it at home. And one of my younger sons at the time was kind of got me interested in it and kind of showed me how to get on there. Because, one of my chief hobbies is firearms and shooting and things like that. And I just started back doing that. I thought, hey, I'm learning these things. I can put that out and other people can maybe see how I'm, doing things. In the beginning, it was a lot of like how to do things. And we start maybe learn how to like maybe put together a rifle or something like that, or just being at the range and, shooting and seeing how you can improve your scores and things like that. And that's just kind of how I got into it. I got into firearms a long time ago, around high school level. A friend of mine from high school, he was kind of getting in it around the same time. We'd go to gun shows and things like that. And so from way back then up to like now, got YouTube kind of happening in the middle, and that's kind of how I got into it.
So, Brian, what is the main type of content that you're making?
It's kind of interesting. I'm trying to involve as many different things as I can that I can kind of get involved with. I start with my own firearms and, talk about upgrades, maintenance, what I shoot with them or at the range. And then I put in, I'll go rent firearms and do the kind of same thing with that. But that's just kind of where I do those kinds of things. And then also I like tanks and armor, who doesn't, right? And I've found
United States Marine Corps.
Yeah, well, yes, Marine Corps. I mean, I served in the Marine Corps, actually, so I have some experience with the Marine Corps.
But they're getting rid of all the armor.
Oh, well, yeah. Thanks for reminding me. That was kind of like a little bit of a sad story. The thing about the Marine Corps, they have almost every capability to, fight a war, for a limited amount of time, of course, and could get technical down into weeds still. But you got aircraft, you got fast movers, helicopters, and you got tanks and armored vehicles, and the Navy gets you where you got to go and all that stuff. So when I heard about them getting rid of like tanks, I thought, shoot, well, there goes a capability. And then I think they might have been doing away with the tube artillery. Rocket artillery is pretty big now. But one thing I'll say about the Marine Corps, the big key thing is flexibility. So if the mission now requires something different, you can kind of understand maybe why they might go away from them. But at the same time, being a tank fan, I was kind of like, oh man, because it's just, so that's my recent view on like the Marine Corps and the tanks.
Have you had a chance to go down to the Fort Knox? Well, it's not there anymore, but previously the Fort Knox Museum of Armor. Now I think it's the Patton Museum of Leadership down at Fort Knox, Kentucky.
No, I've never been to Fort Knox, Kentucky.
I went down there. The Knob Creek Machine Gun Show. I used to go every year, and we used to generally stop by, although the displays really didn't change that much from year to year, but it was always neat to go down and see. They had one of the German King Tigers there, so the giant King Tiger tank, and it was sectioned in half, so you could see inside. It was amazing how something like that, they would come up with something like that, and how effective something like that could be on a battlefield, although I think they only made so many of them.
Yeah, at the end of that war, kind of along the middle, they can only respond to manufacturing so much to make a difference when they had the rest of the world kind of coming back to push the Germans back into that can of worms.
Yeah.
They opened up.
So, you're a gun fan, you're an armor type of fan. you decided that you wanted to share your interests on YouTube. And YouTube is a great resource for anything. Like, I taught myself how to weld on YouTube. I taught myself how to repair my gas dryer on YouTube. So it's such a great resource. So, you know, that was part of what we did here. Was we were trying to kind of started with the classes that I do, in the sense that, you know, people are with us for a day or 2 days or whatever, and there's so much more information that's out there that they need. This was kind of a source of continuing education, and it just turned into a fun thing where you're getting together with people that are like-minded like yourself and just having conversations. So you've done videos on different firearms. You've done some reloading videos, if I remember correctly.
Yes, I have a playlist. If you go to my channel, you can find the playlist, and I have different basic steps of reloading. And upcoming, I've kind of put out there that I want to do some loads for, I have a 6.8 SPC rifle, and I want to do one of those techniques where you do a lot more individual increments of raising the power or the powder load, and then you look for these nodes where you're not getting a change in performance as you change the load.
A ladder exercise.
Yeah, ladder exercise. I guess you look for some, and you can find consistency within those nodes, I think. So I'm going to try to do that method for my 6.8. So that's kind of going from the one thing, and then do some more specifics on the 6.8 coming up.
Of all your videos, which one's your favorite?
The ones I like a lot now, because they're getting a lot of hits, are the ones I took of tanks. I actually went to one event back in July, and at the, let's see what this one's called. These museums had these really long names now. There's the World War II American Experience, and it's up in Gettysburg, and they had an open house.
So that is very, very close to some property that I own right down the street from there. Actually, literally 1 minute from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was great. They had like 3 operational tanks. One's being worked on. And my wife and I went up there, and we got in the one tank. You could go on a ride in the Sherman. These are all Shermans I'm talking about. And, you know, but you had to pay a lot for that. So I might do that in the future sometime. But it was really cool. You could get right up next to these tanks they're driving by, and took some footage where it's like, you know, if they didn't steer, they could run me right over because it was like that close, you know. But, you know, obviously that didn't happen. That was good, but it got some really neat footage. And, you know, last year I was over in Belgium, went to Bastogne, and saw some of the museums where they have, you know, the tanks and things kind of in the museums, kind of stationary. And that's how I started taking some film of armor, the first, you know, one of my first round of those, you could say. And then, like this summer, get to see some tanks, because a lot of times, you know, you go on YouTube and you see a lot of good content, and there's this one place over in England, the Tank Museum, and they got like tons of stuff operational. And I'm just thinking, where can we do that around here? And then we found this place up in Gettysburg. And I was like, wow, this is almost the same kind of video I'd like to take. I'm taking it, it's right up the street. So I'm looking for there's other museums around. I mean, not be as dynamic, but I'm going to go to some of the other ones and see what they have, and take some footage and continue on with the armor, but still doing stuff with shooting.
Have you been to the World War II Museum in New Orleans?
No, not yet. I heard about it recently. I hear that's like pretty awesome.
I've heard the same things. I'm trying to find someone who's been before I make my decision to go. This winter, it'll happen.
Okay.
So, Brian, tell us a little bit about you. What's your background? And you actually have a little bit of a background to speak of.
Okay, so I grew up in the Baltimore area, and I kind of mentioned earlier, you know, I got into firearms around high school, and I was interested in the military and military history, and that's kind of what led to my interest in joining the Marine Corps. I went down to University of Maryland, got an engineering degree, and then after I got out of the Marines, I got into construction management, and that's kind of, like, you know, sort of my background. And I do that, you know, construction management, you know, right now, and on my normal like day job, you could say. Yeah, so then I got into construction management after I left the Marine Corps, and I do that now, and then, you know, moved back up into the area, and, you know, have 2 kids, and I went on and kind of expanded on my you know, firearms hobbies and things like that, and let's see, so
What's your favorite gun?
Favorite gun? It's another tough question, Andrew. No,
I'm here for them.
you know, my favorite gun, I'll say, is the Scar 17S. I got one of those. You know, after some time,
Which color?
the most accurate one.
Flat dark earth, right?
Right, correct. That's the most.
Wrong answer. Please continue.
Well, yeah, it's debatable, right? You know,
Mine's solid gold.
how many of them did they make? Because I never heard of the solid gold one.
Well, it's Krylon gold, but yeah, I
Mhm.
mean,
Oh, Krylon. Okay.
Mhm.
Well, speaking of Krylon and paint, that was one of my earlier videos. I had a firearm, and I was painting Duracoat because I wanted to make a flat dark earth like AR 308. I won't say an AR 10 because it's the DPMS pattern. It's not really an Armalite, you know, upper and lower combination. You know, there's differences with those. So and those are some of the earlier or the first videos that got banned because painting a firearm seemed to be too much of a how-to in the earlier days of suppression.
so that's a great segue, because one of the questions I was going to ask you, and it's something that's come up with us before, and it's seemingly a constant point of contention, is that being a firearms YouTube channel, that it seems like the scrutiny is a lot heavier. It seems like I don't remember the word that I used when we were talking earlier, but I think you used suppression as a good word. Throttle down is what I said.
Yeah, that was what you said.
And so I have videos that are years old, and they are just now getting, a demonetization or something like that. And they were fine when they were posted, but apparently now, and it's from what I read, YouTube within the last within the last year has put in some things that says you can't even show a full auto firearm, not even show it shooting. You can't even show a full auto firearm on screen without running the risk of having it be demonetized. And you said you were actually doing Duracoat or Krylon, and you were getting stuff that was strikes against it or whatever.
Yeah, I think they struck down the painting ones, and then they struck down some of the ones where I was showing some of my build, some parts where I was putting some of the different, like the barrel onto the upper receiver and things like that. It's been so long. They got those like a while ago. Haven't revisited them. When I use that rifle in a video, it's just talking about maybe some aspect of actually I was working with Aero Precision because that rifle was built with a bunch of their parts, and I was having some cycling issues trying to figure out what the issues were, and they spent a lot of time on their chat or on their website trying to help me out, and they actually sent me some parts and say, hey, try this and that, and so I have some videos on that, but it's less of the how-to. Well, I mean, I guess you could argue there's a little bit of a how-to. It's just a little bit of maintenance, or what I'm trying to make mine work a little bit better. I don't think they've come after that yet.
Well, I think that there's actually a thing in there where it talks about you cannot show like the building of a firearm or anything that could be perceived as like doing something to the internal part showing. So that's like what is it? Ian McCullum from what is this? It's a Forgotten Weapons.
Forgotten Weapons.
So Forgotten Weapons. I don't know if he's had problems, but I will tell you this. I have seen videos from Hickok 45 and his son, Little Hickok. I don't know I don't remember what his channel name is.
Hickok 22.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay. So, but
he's John Hickok.
yeah, that's right. Yeah. So, but they had mentioned that they were significantly impacted by these new rules and regulations on a lawful product and a lawful activity.
Yeah, when I heard that, I mean, strictly in terms of percentages, so many of the things that you see on that channel were just basic shooting. I can think of maybe a couple things with some full auto, but nothing that seemed kind of like you would be, influencing people to do nefarious things. Things on proper ranges, things on a proper his range. Private property. But most it's just shooting, non-class 3 or just semi-auto single shot firearms. And, I mean, I don't know if maybe that tracks a lot of attention because he's got so many videos. So that's the other thing. You don't know if they're if their systems are set up to go after people starting out, or if they're trying to like tamp down on people that have like a wide amount of content. But it's just kind of odd to see that when I saw the pressure they were getting under and things coming down, and they were able to get it back up in a couple days, and it made me wonder, like, do they know who to talk to or something
I
about
think there's
specifics or what?
I think there's an algorithm everybody talks about this algorithm, and I'm not some sort of computer scientist, but somehow they're using technology to, I guess, scour people's videos and descriptions to look for things that would be a violation of their quote unquote community standards. And they are flagging these videos. We've had a couple, both between YouTube and Facebook, where it's been flagged as a violation of community standards, and I've had to appeal it. And by the way, you can't talk to a person at YouTube. It's all done. You press this button to appeal, and you'll be notified.
Feature, not a bug.
Yeah, exactly. And we have actually had good luck in getting some of them overturned. But Andrew, I'd be curious your opinion on, is there even any type of recourse for something like that? I mean, it's a private business.
Private business, it'd be the same thing if you wrote a letter to the editor to the Baltimore Banner and they refused to publish it. You couldn't sue them. Now, if they breached the terms of any contract or agreement you have, that would be a different story. But this is the culture war that's being fought in America right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's and you know this as well as I do because you've been in this with me since the beginning. It's challenging, it's frustrating, especially when you're involved in a lawful activity with a lawful item. It's exercising a seemingly constitutional right. Not seemingly, it is a constitutional right.
Right.
Dwayne, you forget we're behind enemy lines here in Maryland, and they would abrogate the Second Amendment if they had their druthers.
Well, sure. And of course, I don't know where YouTube and Google and all them, I would assume somewhere over in California on the left coast,
Northern Virginia.
India.
Yeah.
You say the left coast of Northern Virginia?
No, the left coast of the country. That's
right.
California. So, yeah, it's been interesting. And for our viewers, generally, we're having discussions on the law. We're having discussions on safety and firearms topics like that. Not so much showing firing of them, but we did a video on the Glock lawsuit, which was tremendously successful as it applies to views. And it was demonetized because one shot, we showed Glock's website, and as we were scrolling through to see if we could find the Glock 18C listed as a item that was available, and it wasn't even on there, not on the American website. It was on the one in Glock, Austria.
And this is a key part of the city's lawsuit against Glock, that it's on the Glock 18C is on the website.
But it's not on the American website. It's on the...
So we're doing our firsthand research, analyzing the city's complaint, and YouTube didn't like that.
Yeah.
But don't they realize that the problems they're having with Glocks, it's a completely different like system that they're using?
They
Glock switch versus a properly designed, fabricated, nowhere to be found on the website.
Shut
Glock
your
18C?
damn mouth, sir.
Their contention is even those things that aren't made by Glock, because they have Glock logo on them, that Glock somehow is responsible. At least that's my understanding of it. It's crazy. And but to the original point, we showed a website that we're scanning through, and that video got demonetized because of that one showing of their website. It's just crazy to me.
I mean, if I was going to pick something, if it's something that, is predominantly used by criminals and someone's put on a website, I could see someone taking maybe that down. But if you're like a lawful owner of a 18C or, somebody with the proper licenses that you can make, devices like there's proper licenses for that.
Yeah, class 3 SOT.
That would be, that would be legal. Or I don't know why you'd have to, organization like YouTube would have to be like worry about that. But
they don't like these things. They don't like firearms. And so they're trying to find ways to, it's one thing, like you said, it's one thing if somebody is making a tutorial video on how to unlawfully create one of these things, install it, and then use it for nefarious purposes. I get it, but it's another thing just to show a website. It just goes to show how draconian their regulations, quote unquote, their community standards are. And I'm sure this video will get throttled down just for this very conversation.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Which video was your most challenging video?
Yeah. Most challenging, I find the ones that are, I don't have any particular one, but I know sometimes when I'm showing footage of me shooting, I try to take some video of like the, say a pistol shooting, and then I'll try to like face the camera down on a target and get the shots going, putting holes in the paper when they're happening. And when I get back into the, I'm editing everything together, just trying to cut every little piece down takes a long time. So those can be kind of challenging. Or anything shooting outdoors, because, it gets back into equipment, I have to like zoom in, or you have to run down the end of the range to see if you hit a target. Like I had some recent videos where I was shooting the M1903 and my Savage 110 tactical out at 500 yards. I went down to Delmarva Sporting Clays, where you can they have that set up and you can kind of do that. And that was pretty hard because I was turning up the volume on my clips so I can hear like the ting of it hitting the metal, and so things like that are kind of tough. But I guess you can get a downrange camera and set that up. That's a piece of gear I don't have yet, but I'd like to do more of that. And speaking of the M1903, YouTube took down, I think, a short that was just kind of advertising my 500 yards or the built-in spin drift windage iron sight on the ladder sight. And they took that down. I don't know if it was an official strike or something. I was like, let me go look at the guidelines. And I was like reading through it, and it's like, I don't see anything here. And I say that M1903 is maybe one of the least aggressive firearms I would have, but I mean, I guess somebody would argue with me on that, but it's like, it's, single shot or, bolt action.
Very new firearm, very modern technology.
Yeah.
It's almost as new as your 1911.
Two world wars.
Yes.
I don't think they make them anymore.
Because they're so dangerous.
I mean, I'm not selling
clearly,
them, right?
Clearly. So did you appeal? Did you hit the little button that says appeal? Because you're not going to speak to anybody.
The appeal process is super easy.
You just hit the button.
You want to appeal it, and you hit the button. I was like, nice. All right, cool. Let's see what this process is all about.
What was the results? Did you get a result yet?
They denied my appeal, but they did it very quickly.
Really? Do you get an appeal to the appeal? Can you appeal to the Supreme YouTube Court?
I have not found a way to do that, but I think there is another level. And I looked for these emails. I went through trying to make sure I was on the same page, not just leading to some, anonymous YouTube content creator help or something. And I sent an email, but that was just my first foray into trying to do a deeper appeal. But I think I was able to, after I looked at the guidelines, I just re-released the video, and I don't know if I changed something to make it, at least I made it different. I had to change the titles or whatever, and that one's still up. But, I'm thinking that these are being done by systems, and the systems they're probably not even necessarily matching what the humans that are trying to, do some control, they're not even matching that. So I figure if you just put it back up, maybe that's okay. Maybe I'll just call them bots or whatever, or systems. Yeah. Maybe they won't catch it on the other one, and you can just feel like you don't have to necessarily feel like you're violating some rules, because I think the systems they set up aren't going to necessarily follow the rules either. So it's,
I think that whatever the systems are that they're using, or they're looking for a broad range of things, and when they find something that's in that range, they just nail it, and then you have to appeal it, and then I think a person will actually review it and then determine whether, at least that was my experience, or at least what I saw, where the person would review it, and then either you win or you lose. But
I am certain this person is very familiar with the operability of firearms, makes, models, etc., and is very, very, very well educated on what would be appropriate and illegal.
Yes, a graduate of the Community College of Bangladesh, I'm sure.
You said it, not me.
So that's been a challenge, and you and I have talked offline about that, and also the seeming throttling. So it's like you'll put some videos out and you'll get a lot of attention on one or two, and you'll start getting a lot of subscribers, and you're like, wow, it's really, really growing. And then you'll hit a wall, and then you're just like status quo for a month or something like that, or two. At least that's been our experience. And then at some point something kicks in, and you'll start to get maybe you'll start moving forward again. So it's been an interesting experience, but the bots or the systems or whatever it is you want to call them, it's clearly there's something to that. And if you watch YouTube videos on the quote unquote algorithm, nobody really has a good understanding or explanation of exactly how this AI type of thing works.
Yeah, I watched one of those content creator advice videos, and I think when they were trying to say, don't take stuff down, leave it up because it attracts to a certain you know different viewers that might want to see it. So don't take things down. I thought that was kind of interesting because on my channel I have some old videos, and I thought, I wonder if someone sees that, like maybe they're like don't want to see more or something like that. And I saw this other like video, and I thought, well, just leave it up and just do better. And I was like last year, my watch hours, they were starting to go up. I was getting to the different tiers to where you can go onto monetization. There's like a first tier where you can start, getting supers and things like that. And then beyond that, then I guess you have more of the passive monetization. And I was very close to, those many hours. And then at some point last year, like the hours started going down, and I'm pretty honest when I'm saying that my videos were like better than they were. I can say that truthfully.
Yeah, I've watched your stuff, and they have gotten increasingly better and better and better.
Thank you.
Time.
And I've done more of them. And then like the watch hours are going down. Now I've gotten more into shorts, and the shorts, depending upon, that's a whole other subject of like how do you attract people to like want to click on a short.
The attention span of the youth is being destroyed before our eyes. But please continue.
Yeah, I can be part of that. But so the shorts views, they're kind of going up, but it's far away from what they're looking for. So it's just interesting. I'll do a video, maybe it won't get as much view. Even like the tank videos, that a lot of people like tanks, and it probably gets a lot of hits, a lot of searches.
Very American. Nothing more American than a tank.
Right. And then I'll take those. I'll look at it, just slow to like get views on it, and then I'll do a short related to it without a lot of content, and then I'll get like a few thousand or more views. I'm like, well, hey, that's great, but my shorts, I try to put a link in it, so if you want to see more about it or more about my experience with it, it doesn't always match up. Another thing I was going to mention about my videos, sometimes I like to share some of the experiences I have besides just the actual focus on the video. Like I may have like some, wildlife, something interesting. Like one time I got a film of an owl doing some runs on his bird feeder out back one day, put that in there. And then lately I went to the
wholesome
concert.
Family content.
Right.
We have to throttle that down. Yeah. These owls can be dangerous.
I should have put it in the front.
Yes,
but,
right.
So I used the teaser.
They can turn their head all the way around. That's too dangerous.
Can we trust them?
No.
Owls, I want to say it's iodine they can eat, and it doesn't bother them at all.
That's, that's unacceptable. We have to remove these owls. They're too dangerous.
Said the mice lobby.
Oh, and, owls are great, but if you want to really get into talk about animals, let's talk about raccoons. I mean, they wear like a mask around their face wherever they go.
I've always thought raccoons were very shady.
Yeah, well,
there's only one thing I like less than a raccoon, and that's squirrels.
Okay, now squirrels, we had a problem with those over in our yard too. But one night I was up late doing some videos.
With your Scar 17, did that solve the squirrel problem?
No. I don't even know if they know that could be an option, but
they're going to find out.
But I found those raccoons trying to knock the seeds out of the feeders. I mean, the squirrels would do that in broad daylight, but I saw we got a raccoon doing that. And I got one of those on videos, but I don't put too much of that in there. But the other night I was at a concert and took a couple clips.
Who was performing?
It was The Cult. If you're familiar with The Cult, I saw him down in
David
DC.
Koresh and his crew.
No, not that one.
No one under 40 is going to know what you're talking about, but please
Yeah.
continue.
Yeah. So the Arsenal Visor was at the Cult concert. Maybe some of the viewers are into that, and it's like, hey, check it out. I started out with a short because I was waiting for the concert to start, and it's like, hey, I'm at the concert. And then later on, I was like, oh, I'll put the clips. I'll share that with the viewers. There might not be. Oh, actually, I almost caught myself. I did put a firearm in the video because I figured, my channel is about firearms and armor and things like that. And I say that at the end because I'm going to make it like maybe a concert where you see that stuff. And at the end, I talked about my experience going in there and also about firearms. And you can see the VZ58. Not a lot of people know about that. So you can come to my channel and check it out. So, I'm not opposed to doing that kind of content.
Tell me about your thoughts of the great Colt 1911.
Oh, the Colt 1911 in the Lord's caliber, I presume.
Amen.
Yes. Yeah. Somebody was joking about that the other day, and I didn't really know what to say. They were like, they put down it was on social media, and it said 40. I was just like, I had to walk away from the screen because it's like, 45 ACP. Lately, I was kind of, can I say jonesing? I was jonesing for another 45. I have a Kimber stainless gold match 2, and somebody had it's like a used one. It was a Kimber, maybe a Kimber TLE2 Ultra or something like that. And I thought about maybe doing like a custom paint job on it, either me or I went out to try to get a quote for it. And that was kind of a thing that I was interested in lately. Speaking of the 45s.
Yeah, Andrew's a huge fan of his 1911s.
Indeed. What do you think of the 2011?
The 2011, is that the one from SIG?
No, sir.
2011, or it's where they have like a
Staccato.
Like a double oh,
That's who makes it?
Yeah.
Staccato?
Well, that's what I've got.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that double stack?
Double 9mm, double stack.
Double single or single only in the traditional sense?
Double single.
Okay. All right. Well, you can win 2 world wars with it then.
The next 2 world wars.
And once you run out of rounds, you'll be able to use it to beat someone with.
It's not Krylon gold or anything, is it?
Not yet. Soon enough. I do believe that Staccato, you can get them in actual gold or rhodium. Rhodium, pure rhodium.
Amen.
Yes. You have to go to the Rolex dealer to get it, though.
That's okay.
How long have you had it for?
The lovely people at Tyler Firearms gave me a call. I think it was earlier this summer. Yet to take it out to play. I've been busy. Justice.
You have it?
Yeah.
But you just haven't been able to go out and shoot it yet?
Correct.
Oh, okay.
Correct. I spent a lot of time doing the Lord's work this summer in court. Crime continues unabated in our fair state, and I'm doing all I can representing all the innocent people.
Well, lots of misunderstandings, I'm sure.
Big misunderstandings need big lawyers.
It's true, they do. With big 1911s.
2 world wars.
So in the same vein of the 1911, Brian, I think you brought something to show us that actually is not as powerful as the 1911, but it's close.
I've seen the show, and I seen you got like anti-tank weapons and grenades, and I thought I should bring mine too.
That's awesome.
So I figured, I just wanted to fit in, so I brought the Law Rocket. And
go a little slowly there. What is it for those of us who are not familiar with what you're holding? Describe this. Tell us about it. What is it? When was it in service? What would you do with it?
What do I do with the anti-tank weapons? Do I hold them down here or what?
I believe you would shoot the tank with them.
Now I think was it Laws or Law Rocket?
Law.
It's LAAW, like light anti-armor weapon, I believe is what
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
And so you can. It was designed. You can shoot at bunkers or at armored vehicles, or probably I don't know if it's a light armor or it's light. It's man portable. But
when was the use of that weapon prevalent?
Probably in the 1960s.
Vietnam
I think
era,
they had these in Vietnam. Use them, and then you're supposed to crush the tube so they can't be used as like booby traps and things like that. And they had to. So you have the little cap. It's got the sling on it, holds both ends, and then you would just pull it out, and then your sights, come up. And then interesting to note, they actually had some one one of those, like, I think it's Promethium, but a glow in the dark sight, which
Okay.
this doesn't have anymore because it's been demilled.
Almost like a tritium, maybe?
Well, I think it's Promethium because, well, you can't really see it on here, but I don't think it'll. I don't know if you can see it. The light. So it says
Yeah.
PM something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I can't
that's
read it though.
so.
Dwayne can't read to begin with.
Well,
He's
you know,
illiterate.
it's fourth grade education.
So then I guess you can, like, maybe it's up here. Oh, there you go. You could kind of put it back, but yeah. So the best thing about this, I got this when I was like a kid, maybe in middle school. It cost me $1.
And you can get them on North Avenue for like $50 now. So that actually
Just
works out.
50. Well,
Just 50.
I'll try not to sell it down there.
No,
Yeah.
don't.
You know, but yeah, I just wanted to fit in, so I figured I'd bring some anti-armor.
It's
in
not
there,
as
you know.
powerful as a 1911, but it's really, really close.
This studio has never fallen to an armored assault, thanks to you patriots.
They did kill the internet connection on one of the last videos, though. I was starting to get worried that they had finally found producer Jimmy and they were coming to get him.
He is a wanted man.
Yes, apparently so.
So you've said the Scar 17 is your favorite firearm. What's your favorite pistol?
Favorite pistol. Without doing a lot more thought into it. Well, actually, no. I'm already starting to put too much thought into it. I really like my SIG P229. I like the double action, single action, but it is kind of heavy. I do have a lot of Glock firearms. I like Glocks. I'm not sure which is my favorite of those because they're very, very good, very utilitarian. The last Glock I got was the G20 Gen 4, and it's 10 millimeter. And I recently got the Glock hunting barrel, I think they call it. It's the 6-inch barrel. So I had some video trying to compare those. I might do some more of that in the future.
I used to have a Glock 20 and had some opportunity to mess with that back in the day. Never reloaded for 10 millimeter. At the time, I wasn't loading, but really interesting round.
Okay, yeah, I have reloading dies. I've reloaded for the 10 millimeter. Lately, when I did my test, there was a lot of basic factory ammunition. I think I actually tested some of my reloads too, but you always hear people talk about Buffalo Bore and Underwood ammunition have the really properly loaded 10 millimeters, and I think I should try some of that with the standard was like 4.86 inches versus the 6-inch barrel. Because I wanted to see if there was like a difference in the velocity, and I didn't get a big difference in velocity with the stuff I was shooting. Between the two barrels with my first tests.
Right. Well, I tell you, I think that we can certainly do a whole episode just on the discussions on reloading and the journey to get from start to finish. So I'll be looking forward to doing another sit down on that topic alone, because let's face it, it's something that a lot more people are interested in. It used to be back in the day, it was just the old guys sitting around making their own reloads and stuff like that. It is becoming, I think, more mainstream. And I do think there's a lot of misconceptions about it, that you're going to save a ton of money, or,
Right.
you're not. You're going to spend. There's reasons for it, and there's reasons to do it. There's reasons maybe not to do it, but it is really a rewarding experience, and it helps you to understand what exactly is happening in the firing of the weapon. It helps you to understand how the ammunition works and why it works the way that it does.
Exactly. And then, while we were talking, I was just thinking about safety and reloading. I started out loading for 40 Smith & Wesson for my Glock 22, doing some IPSC matches back in North Carolina where I had range like a couple miles down the street. And that's where I learned about reloading. Had someone who had, I think they had a Dillon RL 550, and they showed me, went over to the guy's house and he showed me the gear and got me started. And that was a straight wall cartridge, and it was kind of easy to do. But then I moved back up to Maryland and didn't reload for a while. And then when I got back into it, I started loading for 308 Winchester, and that's bottleneck cartridge. And I followed the instructions on how to install the dies into the reloader, and followed the instructions. But then I found that you really have to have a case gauge to measure where you're getting your headspace at, because when you cam over, when you're, operating the operating rod of the reloading press, depending upon how your die's in there, your headspace may be a little longer. And then you say you put that ammunition in something like an M1A with what people say is a tight match chamber. You may find that if you're right not on top of your headspace, that it might not function properly. And sometimes I can get into safety issues.
And this is the kind of information that we have to make sure that YouTube censors, because God forbid we do not want people safely using their firearms.
Right.
Well, I imagine they'll probably censor it as soon as they see the LOL rocket pop up, but this will be a good test to see how that goes.
Yeah, we're not making those at home, though. I mean,
Well, it's inert.
they should
but
appreciate that, right? Now,
it's inert, but you know what? I won't be surprised. And by the way, for everybody that's watching, if you are a YouTuber, if you are a content creator, if you have a channel and you've experienced problems, comment below, get in touch with us. We'd love to have a discussion with you about it. And yeah, definitely comment below and let us know your thoughts on anything that we've been talking about. Back to the discussion about the algorithm. What I have found is that when people comment a lot, even if it's negative, positive or negative comments help to drive, I guess they show interest, and they seem to help to drive the videos to more people. So you'll hear, I'll say, everybody, like, comment, share, and subscribe. That means something. So if you're trying to help my channel, his channel, whatever, dropping a simple comment or a thumbs up or whatever is very helpful. And by the way, we'll make sure to put throughout the video links to his channels on the screen, but also down in the description box so that you can find him and tune into his content. And don't forget to subscribe, of course.
So we're begging you, please comment on Dwayne's haircut in the comments.
and you can comment on my videos about Dwayne's haircut too, or mine.
Absolutely. Comment on whatever you want. Say whatever you want.
And we
Just
will
say
read
it.
them and we will respond.
Yeah, we like, what is it? Every twice a year or something like that, we'll do responding to viewer comments, and we'll scroll through and we'll look for the interesting comments, and we'll place them on the screen, and we'll talk about them. So you just might have your comment talked about by Andrew.
God willing.
Yes.
You'd be so lucky.
Yes. So as we wrap up, what type of content do you have coming up? Anything new and exciting?
Oh, yes. What I think is really exciting is many of my viewers may know about my retro Colt 602 build, and I met somebody who's got another build that he really went all out on with all the markings and things like that. And I got some footage of that. I'm going to put that together just to kind of show people some other more advancements that you could do on like your builds or recreations. And then I have another, I think it's a 601, a Colt 601. That was before they were called M16s. They're still called AR-15s. And there's the bolt catch is odd. I've never seen one like it before. And I got exclusive footage of the bolt catch and how it works, and firing of the rifle. And it's interesting. It's if you're familiar with AR-15, like a lot of America is, right? What do we call it? It's America's firearm.
America's rifle, yeah.
Yeah, in common use.
Most commonly held platform in America.
Right. So they all have like a bolt catch, should have a bolt catch. And I've learned about a new one, so I want to bring that to my viewers. So that's something coming up.
How do you feel about dust covers?
Like the ejection port door?
Yes.
I like to have them.
I see no reason not to have one.
Yeah, and there's Magpul makes one that you don't have, that's easy to install. You can just push it in, and I got one of those on an upper that's just kind of sitting around. I got it because I wanted to learn how it worked. But I like them. I think it's a neat feature of the firearm and the way that the iconic AR-15 M16s look like. What would you add about dust covers and any feelings you have about them?
Some internet personalities have very strong feelings pro and against, and that's just why I asked.
Really?
Yeah, I haven't.
Oh, yes.
I may have heard that, but I can't bring up what the issue is. And it's almost similar to like what people say about the the forward assist and things
Very
like that.
controversial, the forward assist, once again, among certain personalities.
Okay.
Why would you want it? And then why would you not want it?
So comment below and let us know your thoughts on the forward assist on the AR and the dust cover. And if you can find any of these articles, give us a link so we can look at them, because I'm curious myself.
For all our blind listeners, where can they find your material?
Oh, they can find it on YouTube. It's Your Arsenal Advisor at YouTube. And if you need to contact me, you can contact me at yaapromo@gmail.com. That's yaapromo@gmail.com.
Well, Brian, I want to thank you for being here tonight, and it's been a lot of fun and a lot of good conversation. Everybody remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe to this guy. And remember, knowledge is mental ammunition. Train, fight, and win.